While Alberto has been tearing down the JZ, I got the Z on the lift and I'm about to do a little bit of TLC on it. I think I'm gonna shred this thing at the compound, so I'm gonna go over it. It's been making some creaky noises. It's been a while since it's gotten some love, so I'm gonna throw it up in there and do a little bit of lubrication on this bad girl. I cannot remember the last time this thing's been on the lift. It's kind of funny to see it up here, and it's hilarious the fact that this splitter with the way that I drive this thing is still intact. But going under, I don't know if you guys remember, like I have a pretty crazy exhaust setup on this thing with all the Motordyne XYZ pipes and stuff, and then half a Tomei, and then the rest all Vibrant titanium and back here. It's kind of cool looking at this thing underneath. So part of what I'm doing is just kind of going over, making sure none of the little lock nuts are loose. You can usually just put a hand on it, like see, that one's loose right there. I'm actually going to adjust the toe a little bit on this car too, try to get a little bit more forward bite out of it. But yeah, just checking, oh, that's loose too. Seeing what's loose, and then up here, a lot of the Wise Fab Heims and stuff are just creaky, so I'm gonna put a little bit of Teflon lubricant in there and hopefully get a little bit better. This stuff's easy enough after you clean it out. You can just go in with a little squirt and no more creak. Alberto, what did you do?
What?
Why do you have 2 more 2Js in the back of my truck?
Because you want all the 2Js for yourself?
No. Alright, both of these aren't for me.
Yep.
Alright, so before I fill you guys in on what I've been spending my entire day on this stupid thing, Alberto's going to give you guys an update on the whole JZ thing. So like we said earlier in this video, we are going to be doing a 1.5 JZ. If you're not familiar with that, that is essentially taking a 1J head, putting a 3-liter bottom end from a 2J on it. It's kind of complicated. There's kind of a few little weird things that you need to know, but the biggest misconception is that the 1J head is better than the 2J head. It is not. People purely do it just out of simplicity. When you already have all your 1J crap, you'll throw a 3-liter bottom end on it to get a little more displacement without having to buy a bunch of new stuff for a 2J. So, Alberto, you have your array of 2J and 1J parts scattered around here. This is the 2J block. This is 1J head or 2J head? 2J head. Where's the 1J head?
And the welding table.
We have lots of 2J stuff around here.
There's 1J stuff on there, 2J stuff over there, 1J stuff over there. You can see I clearly had labeled 2JC and then 1JC, that all the valve string stuff separated.
Alright, so tell us, what'd you find? What's the first thing?
Well, the thing I think I pretty much mentioned in one of your previous videos, that the oil port hole on the 1JC and 2JC are offset. So to put a 1JC head on the block the right way, you need to drill, and you kind of need to drill offset the oil port hole on the 1JC head and then weld shot the original hole, which I'll show you guys in a little bit. But here I have a 1JC GTE valve cover head gasket, and you can tell the oil port is oval instead of circular like the 2JC one. I can also show you the 2JC head gasket.
Well, he's grabbing that
over there.
Another thing to note too, OEM head gaskets from Toyota are like the shit. Like, you can get aftermarket head gaskets, but the stock ones are good to crazy numbers. We're still running a stock head gasket in the 3.4, right?
Yeah, and OEM Toyota head gaskets are really good, especially if you put ARP studs on them, even better.
Yup, so.
Alright, so here's the problem. You have the oil port for the 2JC right here. And then once you put the 1JC head gasket on, you'll notice you have this thing coming off outside of the block edge. So what happens is that little sealing indentation actually comes out past the edge of the block, and it will cause a really bad oil leak.
So that's why you don't use the 1J head gasket, you use the 2J one?
I use a 2JC head gasket, which I have over here with the head. Now notice the oil port hole on the 2JC head gasket is circular and like it's like a bullseye. Well, if you put this and line it up to the 1JC head, I already marked where it lands. There's a little black dot, and then look how much offset from the black dot to the 1JC oil port over here it is. So what I did, I already like grind it off to the side so I can make a little like chamber coming off to the side, and I'm gonna weld this part shut, and it's gonna have like a 45-degree angle drill hole to like rearrange the oil port to match the 2JC block.
So after you weld it, pretty much the only machine work we're going to be doing in this engine is decking the head,
Yes.
and then maybe decking the block, depending on how it looks.
I already like clean off the block. It looks pretty good. I like spent a few times with a razor blade scratching off all the head gasket, and then I use a wire brush and just clean everything else, and then brake cleaner.
With SRs, that it's more likely you would need to deck the block as well because they're aluminum and they tend to warp more.
Well, not necessarily, but it's always a safety precaution. On the 2JCs, sometimes or most of the time, I end up decking them because if it's been sitting for a while or has just like plain water in it, like it'll start corroding between the block and the head gasket, and you have a lot of porosity, and you will have to deck it in order to have a good sealing surface for the head gasket.
But you think it's good and we shouldn't
Yeah,
deck
no,
it?
that one's good. That
Cool.
one's smooth. That's really good.
Cool. So, checking in with Alberto on JZ stuff.
Tomorrow we should be welding this thing and then send it off to the machine shop, and it's ready to go.
The cool thing is we don't have any like super tight deadlines, so we'll be able to actually properly do it how we want to do it. We can get the interior painted, maybe paint the engine bay, and then the car will be much more presentable than this like thrown together car in a rush. So I'm excited for that. I've always wanted a 1.5J, even though I know they're not the most ideal thing in the world. It'll be interesting to see the exact difference overlaid with the same exact turbo setup, same everything, but just a different bottom end. The super lame and uninteresting thing I told you that I've been doing on this thing all day. I haven't had EC since, actually way back, even when it was on a stock ECU. Turned out I had a bad compressor, but then with the standalone, it wasn't triggering the compressor to kick on. So it took a bit of diagnosing, and I actually realized because this car is factory NA and is an Avante instead of like a Chaser, Tour V or something, it actually has a different climate control setup, and the pinout is slightly different. So I had to basically just jump one wire, which sounds super easy, but to get to that point and finding it out and testing continuity from a bunch of different wires and figuring out in the back of the climate control which one actually activated the AC, it turned out it was like a ground wire. Whenever the AC switched on, it grounds out, but it only does it when the car's running, so I had to figure that out. But I ended up just jumping that wire, and now I have it where the AC works. I got some good settings in the standalone, so it cuts off at over a certain RPM, so I don't overspin the compressor. Man, sorry if I'm speaking too fast. I'm just super excited that I have AC now. So this thing's like on its way to being the perfect daily. Only stuff really left that I'd want to do to it. Maybe down the road a slightly bigger turbo, but the bigger things will probably be like cleaning up the interior and doing some black pieces, and then doing like maybe a nice headliner and stuff. But I'm really happy with this thing. So many like random little things I've been up to today. One thing that I didn't tell you guys, I did actually finally align this thing. It's been sitting just like a paperweight forever because I did those rear arms on it. I never got around to properly aligning it. So you look at them fancy new arms, kind of a pain to align, but hopefully now they won't bend anymore. Also got an awesome package from the homies over at DEI. It was one of those cool situations where we buy a lot of their stuff, and they've appreciated us using in videos, and were kind enough to give us a good deal on some more stuff that we're gonna be using on the E36. So a couple quick little things I'll show you guys. I'm not gonna go over everything. This is really cool. It's a massive like heat resistant adhesive wrap that you can use for like trans tunnels or floor pans, which will be great in a gutted car like the E36. We've got all this Easy Loom stuff, which you can put over all the wiring, which we're gonna do in the E36 because it is such a rat nest in there. It comes with its own little kit and stuff. Obviously all gold foil heat protective stuff you guys already know. Spill mats, and then this stuff is awesome to have big rolls of it. If you have any sort of AN lines or anything that's by a manifold or any heat source, I've used this stuff a lot on my Skyline just to try to keep stuff from melting and maintain safe heat throughout the engine bay. So much random stuff in this video. I got a haircut this morning, irrelevant, but that's why my hair looks funny. I posted on Instagram that I was selling these wheels. I was kind of over the bronze, wasn't a huge fan of it on the Supra. I wanted to get the blue after seeing a blue in person, so I got the blue. I'm just putting stickers on them right now. I wanted to have the nice OG stickers since I couldn't get OG TEs for the Supra, but those are gonna be going on the Supra. And then Alberto finished up. What are you doing? So Alberto finished up the little head mod for the oiling, so it matches up with the 2J bottom end. And now this is gonna go to the machine shop. So at the machine shop, Alberto, they are going to deck it. We're gonna have them check valves. We're doing new valve seals, right?
Yes, we're doing new OEM valve seals. We have a full gasket set. So we're gonna do that, clean it up, check all the valves that are sealing. If they need to seal any valves, they're gonna do that for us as well. And then it should be ready to put it back in the car.
Cool.
Or in the 2J block.
I know a lot of people in the comments expressed concern after seeing the quality of the oil about damage to the cam. Do you have anything you want to say about that?
It's very minuscule. I don't know. It didn't really cause any damage. Everything seems fine. The cams are all still shiny, and there's no dull scratch marks or anything. We just gotta make sure we clean everything. So we're gonna get the head completely clean the filter that goes to the VVTi solenoid. There's like flush all the lines out and everything. We're definitely gonna have to replace the oil cooler because that also stores the bad oil. So if you break your engine, you always have to replace your oil cooler because there's gonna be debris in it as well.
So we got the head back from the machine shop. Central Florida Machine and Speed was actually able to give us a really sick turnaround, and they did a really good job. We had them clean the head, we had them vacuum check it, all the valves are good, and we also did brand new OEM valve seals. On top of that, it's decked. Looks real nice.
The oil port hole matches up perfectly with a new gasket, with a 2JC gasket, so now it's like gonna have like 0 oil leaks.
Look at that.
Yeah.
So, is that going on tonight?
Yes.
Sick.
Look how sick the head came out. It's like a brand new 1JC head now.
Yeah, it looked so crusty before.
Yeah, it was bad. This is so much better. I like working with new parts or new look-alike parts.
It's going to be mostly 1.5J stuff today. Alberto, his mask is not for coronavirus, I promise. Johan's over there grinding some stuff. But he is torquing down the new ARP head studs. If you noticed, freshly painted 3-liter bottom end. Nice clean head. Any notes, Alberto?
I've been just doing a mix and match of all the components that are gonna be used for the 1.5. So I ended up reusing the water pump since obviously it's brand new, but the 2JC and 1JC are the same. I noticed that in order to do the swap, if you use the 1JC water neck, you are gonna have to buy the extended water neck to water pump tube. But if you use the 2JC water neck, then you can use the stock 2JC tube will fit. That's an important note. Then also, we are using 2JC GE oil pump housing, so we have the water cooler. And we're having issues that the filter was almost touching the frame rail, and then it was really hard to service. So now we don't have that, so we're gonna gain like about 1.5 inches of clearance.
Also, fun fact, in case you didn't know, the 3-liter bottom end is a little bit taller. So if you remember the clearance issues that we had with the exhaust manifold before, hitting down here, now since the block is taller, we should hopefully have less of an issue because the manifold will actually sit a little bit higher. So Chop from Australia has been giving us some pictures and information on how to do the most extreme rack relocation on the S13. What did you say it was, a total of like 1.5 inches or something?
About 1.5 inches.
And usually we'll do it here like what, like 3/4 of an inch to an inch max.
Right.
So he's basically given us the secret special sauce, so I shouldn't have any over centering issues anymore. That's crazy.
Technically speaking.
It almost looks like it's not even gonna fit.
Right.
But that's wild. If you guys saw the stuff posted up on my story yesterday, I've been selling lots of parts because I've just been going through this whole shelf trying to find everything that I have and organize it. This video's had so much random stuff that's been drawn out over the past couple days because we've been doing the other topic-based videos. It's kind of been all over the place. I have some stuff that I'm gonna have to show you and explain in a couple minutes, and I'm gonna start working on another car. But in the meantime, we got lightning speed with the new 1.5J. Alberto, tell me the biggest differences you've noticed so far than the manifold clearance.
Well, the motor mount definitely clears really good now. I ended up having to make a new oil drain line because it was too short. I was touching against the manifold, so I made a really long one now. I actually routed it in front of the radiator hose, so it's like as far away from the manifold as possible.
It's cool.
Then now after I clog the turbo, we're gonna have to extend the downpipe.
What about intercooler piping? I know this side was good. Do you think that side's gonna line up?
I don't know, we'll see once I put this on.
Well, that's a good thing. So you guys might have noticed there hasn't been a lot of super content going on. It's been doing some weird stuff and I've been kind of going nuts about it. I couldn't get it to drive how I wanted it to, and finally started noticing in the logs that the car just kept on making less boost, less boost, less boost every time I drove it. So after inspecting pretty much everything, thinking it was a wastegate issue since the car appears to be stuck at spring pressure, all the lines were good, no leaks anywhere, but I decided to smoke test the intake manifold, and I'm pretty sure that it's cracked in back. So I'm gonna give a shot at taking this off. It kind of looks complicated, but also easy at the same time. And then we're gonna see, did I crack my stock intake manifold? What you didn't see off camera is I took a bunch of photos, so when I can't remember where anything goes, hopefully we'll be okay. super simple to remove. It took about less than an hour. The one thing that was kind of tricky though, not being able to really see what I was working with these lines down here, I needed Alberto's help because they actually have the little metal style clips that you have to pop out. And then once those are out, they're kind of a pain to pull out. But these two water lines, because if you don't remember, the factory manifold is water to air. Also, the whole reason why we took this out, if you look in back, right around here, as suspected, I don't know if it was from nitrous or from running too much boost, we've got a little crack, not even on the seam, that traces and goes all the way through here. That was just slowly getting worse and worse and letting all of our boost go bye-bye. Unfortunately, at the moment, there are no aftermarket options for a stronger intake manifold, so I'm just gonna have to go with another stock one. It would be a $1,200 part, new from Toyota. Thankfully, Titan was able to help source me a used one, and I have another stock replacement. So I'm gonna pop this on, and then we should be able to get back running to how it should be. I got it all back together. It starts and it runs, but it's still got this crazy misfire at idle. I'm pretty sure what happened since the car had a cracked manifold in back. I think maybe cylinder 5 and 6 were running a little bit rich and probably fouled the plugs out. Unfortunately, I have to wait till tomorrow for the new plugs to come in, but I'll get those changed out and then the car should be ripping and good again. So that's why you haven't seen much of the Supra. But I promise we're gonna have some fun soon. To combat some of the issues with the E36 cooling, I did mention we were gonna go to a little bit smaller intercooler to give a little bit more room for the radiator, just because it's so close, it's making the fan do so much work. Another thing too, rather than that tiny little oil cooler up here, we switched to a huge one from Ishimoto, where we're actually gonna have a fan in back too. That way, even if it isn't getting crazy airflow on the track, it'll still be cooling the oil temps down and just keeping the engine happier, and hopefully no more spun bearings. Johan also made a new setup to be able to bleed it more easily. With this radiator, the fill point was actually lower. So Johan mimicked the design that Andy did on my S15 to make bleeding a little bit easier. So we've kind of extended the water neck up here, and then we have a nice little cap. So we just loosen it and bleed it right up here. All right, so it's ready to start. What do you think? You think it's gonna sound different?
I hope so.
A little bit, maybe a little meatier.
Deeper.
So I changed the engine displacement in the ECU Master tune to 3000 cc's or 2500. I don't know if it's actually going to change the tune, but I think it would start up even on the old base map, don't you?
It will add a little bit more fuel.
So we shall try and see if she starts.
So we gotta prime the oil first. So
Yep. Well, I already have the, what do you call it? The fuel relays unplugged, so.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, I just disconnect the crank sensor.
Okay, that works too.
Right.
Prime it.
Yep.
That sounds good. Yeah. That sounds way healthier than that slow cranking 1J, huh?
Instant right there. Let's do it.
That's good compression.
Oh man.
You want another turn?
Yep.
How are we looking? We prime?
We'll prime now.
Are we ready to start? Here. Wow. It's like nothing happened. It sounds quiet. Yeah, it does. It sounds like relaxed almost. You guys want to check oil real quick? With a big oil cooler, one thing you always want to make sure you do is check the oil after it runs, just because you could lose potentially a quart-ish. Whatever you did before. The spool, yeah. It spools so much faster. Like, it barely spooled for your revving before. Now it's... Oh, yeah. Yep. Oh, yeah.
sounds like a baby S15, the baby S15.
It sounds like a little bit lower pitched. Like everything just got brought down enough. Great success. What do you think, Alberto?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Deeper for sure.
Oh yeah. Thoughts?
Looks good. Sounds good.
We gotta get all this.
Can't wait to put it on the dyno.
I'm just excited. I'm gonna lose probably like 500 RPM of revving range, but hopefully I'll gain probably 1,000 RPM of usable driving range, which is exactly what I want on this car. I'm excited to see how it does. Tomorrow we'll probably maybe iron out some tuning stuff before going to the dyno and then finalize it on the dyno. So you guys can expect to see that in the next video, but until then, hope you guys are stoked. Y'all got this thing back together in record time, and I'm excited to see the difference, like overlaid, same turbo, 3-liter bottom end compared to 2.5. So
Overlay like a dyno grass one from the other.
that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Don't dare me, don't tempt me. I'll do it.
Send it. Now I'm like really excited for my 2J build. Like,
Oh, can I talk about that now?
yeah,
Heck yeah. Berto's doing a 2J.
I already revealed it on the birthday video.
Well, I was just making sure I don't want to reveal your secrets. Can I reveal the other secret? Wink, wink.
What other secret?
Showman.
Remember?